Apparently, there's a cure for COVID-19. I don't know what's going on with all this stuff. Whew, Trump Jr. and how the WHO responds. Let's get into it.
I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need help. Ooh, I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need help. Ooh, that's right. I don't need nothing else. That's right.
What's going on? It's Ruslan with KingsDreamENT.com. This channel exists to encourage, empower, inspire you to live out God's dream for your life. Cover all kinds of different topics, mainly around my point of view on this stuff. We're talking media, marketing, financial literacy, current events, commentary, that kind of stuff, with the end goal to empower you, yes, you, to live God's abundant dream for your life. Be outliers in that regard. I gotta send a big shout out to the King's Dream Patreon community, the most talented community in the entire universe. Don't be sleep. We do weekly Zoom calls, Fan Love Fridays. It's amazing. But I gotta get into this video, man. There's a lot going on right now. I'm gonna do my best to give you guys my perspective on this stuff. Hopefully this video don't get taken down, but who knows, because there's just a lot going on. Apparently, Dr. Stella Immanuel speaks out about the same thing we've been hearing about, this hydrochlorine. I think that's how you say it. Hydroxychloroquine, excuse me, being a quote-unquote cure. I don't know what's going on. And my advice is worth what you paid for it, which is most of you guys aren't paying anything but a little bit of attention. I'm going to get into this video here in a sec. But, yo, if you're watching this live, thank you for watching this live. Do me a favor, give this video a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And let me know where you're watching this from. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know where you're watching this from. My name is Ruslan. I'm a hip-hop artist, creative entrepreneur. You should go check me out on the Instagrams. If you aren't, follow me there. I'm doing a little experiment today. I'm seeing how it goes with me doing more than one live stream and seeing how that goes out. You know what I'm saying? That might work. That may not work. Who knows? I don't know. Get it? Who knows? I'm going to talk about the WHO's response. I'm going to talk about that. But, yo, again, appreciate y'all watching. Let's get into this video. Okay, so shout out to my man, LeVar Sierra from GrowTheHeckUp.com. He is how I saw the video. Apparently, the video got taken down quick. Got taken down super quick. He posted another one with Dr. Stella Immanuel. And I'm going to try to react to this, a little bit of it, what's going on. And then I'm going to give you guys my opinion. And I'm going to try to use a Bible verse to tie it all in. Okay, so you guys ready? Let's do it. Boom. Hydroxychloroquine. Thank you, Russell. Did I say it right that time? All right. So, shout out to Grow the Heck Up. They posted this, or they posted the original video. Basically, Dr. Immanuel is, I think, outside of Washington, saying that there's a cure. I'm like, okay, there's a cure. Okay, apparently there's a cure. Whew, this is wild. Now, here in this clip, I'm not going to play a whole lot of it because they're taking this down everywhere, which I think just fuels some of this narrative, right? And yeah, so let's just, I'm going to play a quick clip of it. You guys see the title. I'm not going to play a lot of it, but you guys get it.
Even good part. You see, what's his name? That dude on CNN that got sick. What's his name again? Andrew Cuomo's brother, the crazy one. That dude, I knew he took hydroxychloroquine. Do you know why? He kept saying that he was having nightmares. I knew he took some form of hydroxychloroquine, or one of them, probably the bad version. These people are taking hydroxychloroquine. I dare everyone in DC, all you talking heads on CNN, give me a urine sample. If I check.
She demanded a urine sample for everybody in CNN, everybody in government, so on and so forth. That's crazy. Okay, now, Dr. Stella Immanuel, she's based out of Houston. Don't know a whole lot about her. Some of the stuff I did, quick research, she kind of has some wild views about, like, you know, all kinds of stuff, okay? I don't want to get too much into it, but apparently alien DNA, demon sperm, and she thinks that this is a potential cure. And according to her, the 350 patients she's treated have all been cured. Again, I haven't dug too much deep into who she is, what she believes. I don't know, but there seems to be some other views attached to her positions. I don't know, okay? I don't know, but you guys could Google her, okay? Google her, do your own research. Now, obviously, the hydroxychloroquine queen. Gosh, that is so hard to say. Did I say that right? Hydroxychloroquine. Obviously, President Trump has been saying it's a potential cure for a while now. They're saying there's substantiated reports. And yesterday, his son, Donald Trump Jr., tweeted a video basically saying you don't need to wear face masks. And I wasn't sure if he tweeted her video or the video of her going viral, which is all over the place and getting taken down, or if he tweeted something else. I don't know, but I know he is pushing some of the same stuff. You don't need to wear masks. You don't need to do all this stuff, and apparently there's a cure, and they didn't like it, so Twitter suspended his account for 12 hours. They didn't ban him, they suspended his account for 12 hours, which is crazy to think about, that the son's president, or the president of the United States' son, had his Twitter account banned. Now, what does all this mean? I'll give you guys my opinion, okay? I'll give you guys my opinion. There's usually two different ways people look at this kind of stuff. They look at it from one of two extremes. One extreme is, hey, we got to get in line and do what the protocol says to do because, the government is looking out to protect everybody's best interest. That's one extreme. We got to err on the side of science, and we have to be okay with giving up some freedoms for more protections. This happened after 9/11, by the way. We gave up some freedoms and stuff like the Patriot Act got passed. And in hindsight, a lot of that stuff wasn't good, right? Hindsight, that stuff wasn't good. So there's one perspective that's like, hey, we got to give up some of this, and generally they're looking out for our best interests. Now, I don't take either extreme. That's one extreme. The other extreme is, hey, the government's overstepping. They're trying to control people. They have an agenda. Big government is bad, and we need to make sure that we have freedom. We have freedom. That's another extreme. I don't disagree with that position either, right? That position tends to have more of a negative view of the government. Big government bad. They want to get you guys all with vaccines and don't take the COVID vaccine, and they're out to get you. The government's out to get you. There's a mass agenda to get you. Okay, so that's true. And when you look at historically some of the stuff the government has done, some of the stuff we know the government has done. The Tuskegee experiments, the war on drugs, the CIA being complicit in allowing cocaine to enter a lot of neighborhoods in America and then admitting it, right? There's been some sketchy stuff done, and those are just the ones I'm thinking of. I'm sure there's others, right? And as you guys know me, I am not like a quote-unquote conspiracy person, but I think, I think there's some valid truth to a lot of that kind of stuff, right? But that's the other extreme. And I have a third option to propose to you guys. I got a third option to propose to you guys that some of you guys may or may not like, but it doesn't really matter. I am not the biggest fan of big government. The lady's name is Dr. Stella Immanuel. Stella Immanuel, she's out of Houston. Google her name. You could do your own research. And she's kind of pushing this narrative that, hey, like they just want to control you, this and this and this. And by the way, the WHO responded to this. The World Health Organization responded to this. And we'll get into this. We'll get into this here in a second. I'm going to read you guys their tweets because I think both perspectives have kind of some validity to them. You guys know me. I'm politically agnostic. I don't align with any one party, and that's the bummer that this whole COVID thing is getting like politicized. I think that's a bummer. Masks are getting politicized, right? This is crazy. Now, what is the third option? My opinion. This is my opinion, and it's worth what you pay for. My opinion and I say this a lot, is I don't ascribe malice intent where there's potential incompetence instead, right? It's a quote from Hanlon's Razor: never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity or by incompetence. Meaning that I don't think that the government or the WHO or the CCD or whoever is so much malicious and crazy and evil and trying to get us, as much as I think they're just incompetent. I think they're stupid, right? And I don't mean the people stupid. I mean the bureaucratic systems that are supposed to protect us and give us accurate, up-to-date information are stupid. I think they're inaccurate. I think they're ineffective. I think they're inefficient, right? And I tend to be, more of a small government type of guy. I just think they're not the best systems. And therefore, when you got bad systems and you got bad bureaucracy and you got just incompetence, it then can come off like an agenda and, they're trying to get us. I don't think anybody's trying to get me. Maybe they are, but I don't think anybody's trying to get me. However, I don't think the government necessarily has my best interest in mind at the same time. This is the third option, right? The third option is don't always assume that there's malicious intent when it could just really be people are dumb and they're incompetent. And I think the ball has been dropped a lot, unfortunately. They came out with, the mortality is rated super high. Oh my gosh, the mortality rate is super high. It could be 3-4%, which is a lot, by the way. 3-4% is a lot. That means, out of 100 people, 4 people potentially are dying from this thing. And then they said, don't wear masks. Masks don't make a difference and don't make a difference. And then it's like, everybody got to get masks. You got to have a mask out to be in public, right? It's like, gosh darn it, man. This is incompetence. This is incompetence. This is we're learning as we go. We don't really have information. We're kind of shooting from the hip on some of this stuff. And some of the stuff we just don't know. We don't know what we don't know until we know. Is there a cure for this? I'm going to get into that in just a second. According to the WHO, they released a statement that I actually think kind of connects both sides, believe it or not. And then I'm going to try to tie it up nice and clean with a Bible verse so that we all feel good about ourselves and feel like we're closer to Jesus. All that kind of stuff. If you're watching this live, give this video a thumbs up. Even if you're not watching this live, give this quick thumbs up. That helps us a lot. This video is probably going to get, this video is going to get demonetized. This video is, they're going to take this down. Probably. I don't know. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy, but do me that favor. Now, that's my position. Don't assume malicious intent when there can be incompetence. In malicious intent, I mean, come on, like you have the leader of the free world, the president, who is kind of down with a lot of these conspiracies, right? You got a son saying that we shouldn't wear masks, right? And there's both sides, right? So let's look into it from what the WHO is saying. I'm gonna pull up the WHO, and we can get into what their actual position is. And you guys tell me what you think. So I pulled up their tweets. This is, by the way, when you open Twitter, there's a thing here just for all COVID related stuff, right? Now it goes into this like why they stopped doing these trials, right? So I'll just read it off to you guys real quick. The Solidarity trials hydroxychloroquine arm is being stopped on the basis of evidence showing it does not reduce mortality for hospitalized COVID-19 patients. Mortality, that's the key word here. The decision to stop I'm sorry if I'm butchering this guy, hydrochloroquine's use in the Solidarity trials for COVID treatment was based on large-scale randomized evidence from the Solidarity Discovery Group of Trials, as well as review available for publicized evidence from other sources. The evidence, check this out, the evidence does not apply to the use of hydroxychloroquine, that's how you say it, hydroxychloroquine, for preventing COVID-19 infections or treating non-hospitalized patients. Two areas where we still need more evidence on the drug's effectiveness against the coronavirus. Whew, that's a lot. What is this saying? This is saying, hey, the studies we have done, the studies we have done, is saying we don't have evidence to support that hospitalized people and people on the verge of death are having any type of positive reaction to it. It's a malaria drug. That's what the WHO is saying. But what they're also saying is that they haven't done studies. The caveat here, again, I'll pull it up again. They have not done studies for preventing COVID-19 infections or treating non-hospitalized patients, two areas where we still need more evidence on the drug's effectiveness against the coronavirus. They're saying we haven't done studies on that. So they haven't done studies on that. She said she treated, Dr. Stella said she treated 350 people. And outside of her other views, and again, whenever somebody comes out and says something controversial, they are going to try to dismiss them and make them sound crazy. And she has some other views about, sperm from demons and alien DNA and all that kind of stuff, which could be true too, I guess. I don't know. But people are trying to dismiss her. What they're saying is, hey, we haven't done enough studies on the effectiveness of preventing it, using it as a preventative. And maybe the 350 people she treated weren't on their deathbeds and they weren't hospitalized. Maybe they were just starting with symptoms. And in that regard, maybe it does treat people. Maybe Trump and all these other people are getting the drug to prevent it. And if you also go back and watch that original video, which again, unfortunately has been scrubbed, she also talks a lot about zinc. She talks about two other drugs that I don't remember. And so she's creating this cocktail that maybe is boosting people's immune system or preventing them from getting it, or if it's early enough, meaning that they're not hospitalized and they're not on the verge of death, right? So we're talking about mortality rate. Maybe that's what it's saying. Maybe that's, so again, third option, right? It's against this agenda and it's not for. They're, again, in my opinion, just incompetent. They can't keep up with all the information, right? Don't ascribe malice intent where competence could be a reasonable explanation. So the WHO says, hey, look, we study this on people who are on their deathbed and people who are hospitalized. We haven't found evidence that it helps. But they haven't studied it as a preventative measure. Maybe that's what we're seeing. Again, I don't know. I don't know. My opinion is worth what you pay for it. However, in all of this, if this information, if this news is causing you to be afraid, if this news is causing you to be fearful, if this news is causing you to freak out because you think they're trying to get you, I have a verse for you. And I have some practical things you can do to, mitigate your risk in the midst of all this, okay? Some very practical things you can do. So let's look at this verse. Isaiah 8, verse 12 to 14. Do not call conspiracy everything this people calls a conspiracy. Do not fear what they fear, and do not dread it. The Lord Almighty is the one you are to regard as holy. He is the one you are to fear. He is the one you are to dread. He will be a holy place for both Israel and Judah. He will be a stone that causes people to stumble and a rock that makes them fall. And for the people of Jerusalem, he will be a trap and a snare. That's Isaiah. They were going through some wild times. You guys could go read the context of that. I don't got time to get into it. But what that's saying is, listen, you have the fear relegated to an authority and a positional person that doesn't have control over your eternal soul. Fear God. Don't be concerned with everything that's going on. You should fear God. Don't call everything they're calling a conspiracy. Fear God. That's ultimately who's in control. So that's who, you know what? I'm more reverent towards my God and whatever he's doing in all of this. I don't know all the ins and outs. I got some ideas, but it doesn't really matter because my fear is to have a reverence and a posture of humility towards God, not towards man and not towards government and not towards scientists and not towards an agenda, but to God, because ultimately he's in control. And that's all throughout the scriptures. I believe in a big God. He's in control. So one, guys, have reverence and fear for God. Don't fear man. Okay. Off top. Now, what are some practical things you could do? Listen, who knows how bad this stuff can get? practical things you can do. Go out there, boost your immune system. Zinc is obviously a good idea. That's been, shown to boost your immune system. Hey, this would be a great time to lose some weight, okay? Because again, I don't know why the WHO isn't saying this, but people who are overweight are at a higher risk. A lot of these younger people who have died are overweight, and that's a correlation. Nobody wants to talk about how to boost your immune system. Nobody wants to talk about how to get healthy. Nobody wants to talk about how to lose weight. Nobody wants to talk about getting more sleep, where the less sleep you get, the more likely you are to have your immune system compromised. Okay? So those are some tangible things. In terms of this being a global pandemic and everything that's going on, something else we could do, go grow your own food. Start growing your own food. That's what I want to do. I got a little backyard, growing my own food, right? Paying off and saving as much money as I can so that I have an emergency fund. These are real practical things. If this information isn't like making you act and do something, and it's just freezing you up and causing you to be afraid and anxious, which some of us are kind of getting off on that, right? Like we kind of like the idea of like new information. Ooh, the agenda. Ooh, it's bad. Ooh, I'm scared. Ooh, what am I going to do? Ooh, I'm just going to consume more and more information. If you're looking at this and this isn't forcing you to get your health in check, to sleep, get better sleep, to drink more water, to lose that weight you need to lose, to be more financially responsible, to potentially grow your own fruits and vegetables, that's what this should be. That's what this should be propelling us to, not to reinforce more fear, to reinforce more hysteria, to reinforce sharing the misinformation. When it comes to the masks, listen, we could say freedom versus protection. Here's the deal. Highways have speed limits. If you drive past that speed limit, you have to be willing to deal with the consequences of it. Now, the consequences of going past the speed limit, you might lose control, you might get into an accident, you might die, right? But the other consequences, you might hurt somebody else. I think a lot of our speed limits are stupid. I think they're dumb, but they're there to protect other people from our potential recklessness, right? So this whole idea and this notion of like, you can't make people wear a mask. Listen, I got no problem wearing a mask. The mask isn't necessarily for me. The mask is for everybody else to say, hey, my mother who's at risk, she's older. I go over there every day. I have to make sure I'm protecting her. We live in a very individualistic society. It's all about us and our freedoms and our liberties, but you have to consider other people, and that, yes, laws aren't always about you and what you want to do, that there are laws, and we do trade freedom for protection. In this case, wearing a mask is the equivalent of driving the speed limit. You can say, I don't care what happens to me. I'm going, if I deal with the consequences if I got to drive and speed and crash. I deal with those consequences. It's not about you. You could infect somebody that's older and they die. Wear a mask. That's not an unreasonable request. Wear a mask. I got my mask right here, right? We're going to drop some King's Dream Outlier masks. Make it very affordable. Wear a mask. It's not that big of a deal to wear a mask. If you drive and you follow the speed limit, which I feel like most of us should, especially when there's a lot more cars on the road, it's the same idea, guys. So that's not impinging on your liberties. That's not taking away and persecuting the church and Christians, right? My buddy Jeff Morris has a church in Oceanside. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Rhythm Church. They just did a church service outside. It was fine, right? So when they're saying, hey, we can't do this, because there's been evidence that there's clusters and outbreaks at churches, we have to say, well, okay, there's evidence there, so maybe we shouldn't be reckless inside of a church, singing and talking and spitting and particles coming out and then potentially spreading. Regardless on what you may think about it, regardless on if you think it's an agenda or not, you should have enough respect for other people. I don't think the speeding laws are just. I'll just be honest with you. I think a lot of these 65 miles an hour speeding, I think I go 85 safely. But it's not about me. It's other people on the road. The likelihood of an accident is heightened when you're going past a certain speed limit. So all in all, guys, big 3 takeaways. Number 1, don't always ascribe malice intent when there's a logical explanation of incompetence. I think a lot more of the stuff we're seeing in our world is incompetence, and I think it's people being dumb and people being reckless. Number 2, fear God. Fear God in this whole situation. Don't be afraid. This shouldn't be forcing you to be scared and afraid. Okay, so number 2, fear God. Number 3, grow your own food. Take preventative measures, right? Get your immune system up. Take some zinc. Drink more water. Get more sleep. Exercise. Okay? Number 4, wear the mask, fam. Wear the mask. Like, what? Like, come on. Like, just put the stupid mask on. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not controlling you or any of these things. I think those are all reasonable explanations. I think those are all reasonable, not explanations, expectations. I think those are all reasonable things that I would challenge you guys that, I say it all the time. Bad fruit, bad root. If the fruit of this is causing you to be afraid, and the fruit of this is causing you to be anxious and causing you to not press further into Jesus and not press further into your health and not press further into becoming a healthy, contributing person to your family, towards your home, then I would reevaluate the root of this. I would reevaluate, is your logical conclusion of this correct? Because if there's a bad fruit and it's causing you so much anxiety that you're freaking out, the root may be off. So search your own heart. There's very little benefit of consuming this stuff over and over and thinking that, you're somehow smarter than everybody else because you have the latest, most greatest information. And examine, use your own brain. Okay, so this isn't an endorsement of Dr. Stella Immanuel. Go research her. She got some wonky views. I'm keeping it a buck, right? But I'm not going to dismiss her. It's crazy. I'm just going to say she got some wonky views. So go do your own research on her. But wear the mask, fam. Get your immune system up. Love others well.